Gun owners, pay close attention. Next week, the Supreme Court could make a ruling that might instantly change the rules for your guns. And it could happen without warning. Your permits, your concealed carry rights, even your ability to legally own a firearm, could all be on the line. Imagine waking up one morning thinking you're fully legal, and then suddenly, you're not. Every step you took to comply with the law, wiped out overnight. Most gun owners don't even know this case exists. The government isn't broadcasting it. But the consequences? They could be huge. And if you think this doesn't affect you, think again. Because this ruling could touch millions of gun owners across the country. Maybe even you. And here's the part most people don't realize. The court isn't just looking at new laws. They're examining hidden loopholes that could quietly invalidate permits, track your firearms, and flag you in ways the average gun owner would never expect. In this video, I'll break down the shocking details of the case, why it matters to you, and what the Supreme Court could do that would instantly change gun ownership as we know it. Before we dive deeper, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because if you miss this ruling, it could cost you more than you think. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to protect yourself. Now, what exactly is the Supreme Court considering? And why is this case flying under the radar while its consequences could be catastrophic for gun owners? Let's unpack it. To understand why this ruling matters, we need to go back and look at the case at the center of it all. At first glance, it might seem like just another legal dispute, but the Supreme Court rarely makes decisions without far-reaching consequences. This case challenges existing gun laws, focusing on how federal regulations interact with state-issued permits and concealed carry rights. On the surface, it's about legal technicalities, but hidden beneath is a system that could quietly strip millions of Americans of their rights if they aren't paying attention. And here's the first shocker. The ruling could also involve federal databases that track gun owners. Databases most of you have never even heard of. Imagine being flagged in one of these systems without any notice, only to discover your rights have been restricted. Or worse, that you're suddenly considered in violation of the law. The key players in this case aren't just lawyers and plaintiffs. They include high-ranking government officials, federal agencies, and yes, the Supreme Court justices themselves. Each one brings a history of decisions that can tip the scales in ways the public rarely anticipates. For decades, gun owners have relied on a patchwork of federal and state laws to protect their rights. But this case exposes cracks in that system. Cracks that could be exploited if the court rules in a way that tilts too far toward government authority. Consider this. In 2016, a similar federal ruling quietly affected thousands of gun owners. No headlines. No public outrage. Just a sudden shift in who could legally carry, and who couldn't. This new case has the potential to be even bigger. And it's not just about permits. Concealed carry, background checks, firearm transfers. Everything is on the table. A single decision could ripple across states, changing the rules overnight. Some states could see stricter enforcement. Others might face federal mandates that override local laws. And most gun owners won't even see it coming. Think about it. The gun you legally purchased, the permit you've held for years, the firearms you thought were fully compliant with the law. All of that could suddenly be scrutinized. And in the worst-case scenario, being on the wrong side of this ruling could land law-abiding citizens in legal trouble, despite doing everything right. What makes this even more urgent is the timing. The Supreme Court has fast-tracked the case, meaning their decision could come much sooner than anyone expects. And because it's flying under the radar, most gun owners don't even realize the clock is ticking. And here's a detail most people are missing. There are loopholes in the existing laws that the court might exploit. These aren't hypothetical, they're documented, and they've been quietly used before to restrict gun rights without public notice. The same strategy could be applied here, and if it is, law-abiding citizens could be caught completely off guard. So, what exactly could the court do? How could these loopholes be used to impact you directly? And what risks do gun owners face if they fail to act now? That's what we're diving into next. And the answers might shock you. Now that we've covered the background, let's talk about the real dangers, the hidden risks that most gun owners aren't aware of. These aren't hypothetical scenarios. They are real, documented ways the Supreme Court's decision could instantly impact your rights. 1. Hidden federal databases and tracking risks. One of the most alarming aspects of this case involves federal databases that track gun ownership. Most gun owners assume these systems are harmless. They think they're only used for background checks. But what if I told you that these databases could quietly flag you, your firearms, and your permits without your knowledge? Imagine trying to renew your permit or purchase a firearm, and suddenly you're flagged as ineligible. You did nothing wrong, but the system has already marked you. And the worst part? There may be no immediate notice, no warning before legal action is taken. This is not science fiction. Federal records are already used to enforce laws quietly, and loopholes in the legal system mean that law-abiding citizens can be caught in the crossfire. 2. Hypothetical scenarios. Making it personal. Let's make this personal. Imagine you've had a concealed carry permit for years. You follow all the rules. You pass every background check. Then, one morning, the Supreme Court issues a ruling interpreting a loophole in federal law. Suddenly, your permit is considered invalid in certain states, or your firearm is flagged in a database as restricted. And here's a question for you. What would you do if law enforcement showed up at your door? You've been compliant all your life, but now, legally, you might be on shaky ground. And thousands of other gun owners could be in the exact same situation. Scenarios like this have already happened in smaller cases. States quietly changed rules. Permits were suspended. Firearms were seized. And the media barely reported it. This Supreme Court ruling could magnify that on a national scale. 3. Loopholes and legal gray areas. One of the most concerning elements of this case is how the court could interpret existing laws to exploit loopholes. These loopholes aren't publicized. They're subtle, often buried in legal text, but their effect is devastating. For example, a technicality in federal law could suddenly make certain types of firearms illegal, or place you on a watch list. It wouldn't be a new law, it would be an interpretation. And once it happens, undoing it can be nearly impossible. Another loophole involves interstate firearm transfers. Even law-abiding owners who have moved across state lines could suddenly be in violation of federal law, depending on how the court rules. The danger is not theoretical. It could be your guns, your permits, your life, on the line. 4. Consequences for law-abiding citizens. The scary reality is that this ruling could catch law-abiding citizens off guard. People who have done everything right, followed the law, passed background checks, renewed permits on time, could suddenly find themselves on the wrong side of a legal interpretation. And if that happens, it's not just fines or warnings. Some states could enforce immediate restrictions. Firearms could be confiscated. Criminal charges could be filed. And you might not even know why at first. This is why gun owners across the country need to pay attention right now. 5. Historical precedents. Building credibility and fear. History gives us a chilling glimpse. Previous Supreme Court interpretations have quietly changed the rules for millions. In one case, a ruling on background checks and federal regulations led to thousands of gun owners being flagged incorrectly. No warning, no news coverage. Just a sudden shift in who could legally own a firearm. Now, take that history and imagine it amplified on a national scale. That's what this upcoming ruling could look like. And the truth is, most gun owners have no idea what's coming. So here's the question that every gun owner needs to ask. What can you do right now to protect yourself before the court decides? The steps may surprise you, and the consequences of inaction could be devastating. In the next section, we're going to break down exactly what you need to do to safeguard your rights. Step by step, actionable, practical measures. But before that, there's one final risk most people never consider, and it's quietly tied to this case. One misstep could cost you everything. It involves a hidden system, one the government doesn't want you to know about, and it could decide whether your firearms remain legal or not. Stay with me, because I'm going to expose it in just a few minutes. If you've watched this far, I want to personally thank you for staying with me. It shows you care about protecting your rights and staying informed. I really appreciate it. Now, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and share this knowledge with other gun owners. They need to hear this too, because staying prepared could make all the difference. Thank you for being responsible, informed, and vigilant. We've laid out the stakes. The Supreme Court ruling could quietly upend the rights of law-abiding gun owners nationwide. Now, it's time to focus on what you can do to protect yourself before it's too late. Actionable steps for gun owners. 1. Review your permits and documentation. Step 1. Check every permit you hold, state and local. Ensure all your paperwork is current, accurate, and easily accessible. Even small errors in your records could trigger legal trouble if this ruling exploits loopholes in the system. Remember, some of these loopholes could invalidate permits retroactively. That means yesterday's perfectly legal permit could be tomorrow's legal headache. 2. Track your firearms. Step 2. Make a detailed inventory of every firearm you own. Include serial numbers, purchase dates, and documentation of transfers or sales. Keep this information secure but easily accessible, because in some cases, law enforcement could request proof of compliance. This might seem excessive, but the court could interpret federal laws in ways that place the burden of proof squarely on gun owners. 3. Stay informed about federal databases. Step 3. Understand which federal and state databases track gun ownership. While most of these systems are meant for background checks, they can flag you under certain conditions. If the Supreme Court ruling impacts these databases, knowing how to monitor them could save you from sudden legal trouble. Some of these systems are hidden from public view, so being proactive isn't just smart, it's essential. 4. Consult legal experts. Step 4. Consider speaking with an attorney who specializes in gun laws. Laws are complex, and loopholes are often exploited in ways the average gun owner won't anticipate. Legal guidance can help you understand your rights, navigate gray areas, and prepare for potential fallout. Because if you think this ruling won't affect you, think again. Millions of gun owners could suddenly find themselves facing legal challenges. Reinforce the stakes. This is why paying attention matters. This Supreme Court decision isn't just abstract legal theory. It could impact your life, your safety, and your ability to protect your family. Ignoring it isn't an option. And don't think this only affects certain states. Federal rulings often override local laws, meaning even gun owners in states with permissive regulations could be at risk. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. Millions of Americans could suddenly find themselves caught in legal limbo. The question is, will you be prepared? Finally, there's one hidden system most gun owners don't know about. A system the government doesn't want publicized. It could quietly track you, your firearms, and your compliance status. And it could determine whether you remain fully legal or suddenly fall afoul of the law. In our next video, I'm going to expose this hidden federal system, how it works, and the exact steps to protect yourself from it. Trust me, this is information every gun owner needs before it's too late. So here's what you need to do right now. Review your permits, track your firearms, understand the databases, and consult a legal expert if necessary. And most importantly, stay informed. The Supreme Court is about to make a decision that could change everything, and being prepared is the only way to protect yourself. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share it with other gun owners. Don't wait until it's too late. Your rights depend on staying one step ahead.